All right, this is the online session for Friday. We were covering the continuing coverage on the Insight Explorer software 4.1 and above using EasyBuilder. We're now moving into a deployment section, which is going to be the VisionView section. So I'll do a slight or small slide presentation for you and then go into a lab and show you what to do there. So in deployment, we have some film strips that you actually can view at the bottom down here during the user interface. This is on the Insight Explorer side. We have ways of recording and copying these sensor film strips to a drive if you so desire. Don't care. So we'll save those to a PC. We also can save the job to the camera, save the specific job to the PC as a job file for backup purposes. Once we've done that, then we're into running the job, which brings us to the VisionView panel. As I said, we've continued this on. We have several sections before this covering the different tools up to this point, and so this is a continuation of those lessons from before. So here we have the results table displayed down in the bottom of the screen, the PowerPoint here being displayed for you, telling the results of the actual tools themselves, whether they pass or fail. And that is how you can monitor it through the user interface. Another functionality of the run job is to actually customize what it looks at the bottom of the results table by selecting which tools you want to have shown in that results table to help simplify the results down there. Once we've configured that to how you want it to look, then you can go ahead here to the actual deployment by actually saving and running the job, and then running into running film strip and backing up your job file to the PC and possibly restoring it or actually cloning your camera to the other cameras in the network. Once that's done, then we can get into the VisionView operator interface. And once I start that, why don't I go ahead and show you something here. I've got Insight Explorer running, and I'd like to share that application with you just briefly. Here, Explorer. All right, so as you see here, the interface is passing and failing at different points. We've got a gasket that we're looking at right now. It has some parameters here that aren't passing at the moment. And I can go through and tweak that, but I'm just going to go ahead and leave some of those as failed. The holes have failed for some reason. Probably their area is not within the limits, but this is our actual spreadsheet. It has been saved, and we're ready for deployment. So I just wanted to show you that functionality, that we do have a gasket running on the Insight Explorer with some custom view up here. If you'll notice, if I switch to S6, this is the view that you get in the spreadsheet, which most of you have probably seen before out on the plant floor, where you can actually see this custom view, seeing the different parameters here. So we'll go ahead and change that back out of the custom view, so we just have the spreadsheet view, as you see down here, and go back and talk about deploying this. Let's see what we need to do to deploy this unit to a VisionView panel. And I'll let it catch up here to us for a second, Microsoft Live meeting. Okay. So here we are in what we call the VisionView panel, and we have some units here to look at some of the different functionalities of the VisionView panel itself. Basically a low-cost operator interface. So what you'll see here is the actual camera view, and we can panel these 9 by 9, 3 by 3, not 9 by 9, I'm sorry, 9 views, 3 by 3 on this view right here. And so we're offering you not only the camera, but also a human-machine interface called the VisionView to allow the operator to see what the camera is looking at and some access to it. What it is a 7-inch display. It's an 800 by 480. You'll notice we have a 640 by 480 panel. I mean a 640 by 480 imaging chip, but this is 800 by 480. The 800 here is to allow for extra room on the screen so that, so that you can have some buttons that we'll be showing you how to configure these buttons shortly. Operates with the Windows CE operating system. And we have 5 Ethernet ports total. Now 4 of these are dedicated to the Vision system, and 1 is a LAN port. So you can also use this as a power over Ethernet function. These 4 ports right here are power over Ethernet, so you can power 4 cameras, the 4 micro cameras off of that VisionView panel, and you can network with the other cameras to the LAN port. We also have 3 USB ports on there, 2.0. These are for if you want to put a keyboard on there, or a mouse, or a flash drive or hard drive, USB hard drive on there to collect images and information such as that. So what we also do here is we can allow multiple connections through the LAN port. Okay, so this will browse your entire network and connect this VisionView to the different cameras out on the network. And we connect up to 9 vision systems. They will see all the cameras on the network, but you'll only be able to display 9 at a time. And this does provide power over Ethernet through the VisionView panel itself. They are direct connect. You do not need to configure them. You can connect them straight to the cameras using the landline here for your PC and configure those that way. So another way to configure this, instead of directly through the user, the PC, you can just connect it to a switch, and this most likely will be out there on the network, and your PC will be out there. But this is how you can browse for the other cameras out there. Right here, we're powering these 2 cameras off of this switch, or connecting through that switch, and using this as the landline into here to connect to these 4 cameras that are connected through the VisionView. These 2 cameras right here require power over Ethernet. These 2 do not, and you'll notice we are connected to the same VisionView panel. Again, it has auto sensing, so it knows this one will need power over Ethernet, micro cameras, but the 5400 and the Intellect camera here does not need power over Ethernet. They are powered differently. So that's some of the things for the VisionView panel, how you connect them network-wise. USB ports, basically for a storage device to save your film strip onto it, or you can connect a hard drive through the USB port also. And a keyboard and mouse for that. We do have future uses for that, which will be coming up. It is a widescreen display, but as I said, this is at 800 by 480, but again, we just view a 640 by 480. That is our imaging chip itself. So we do have that available to get a full screen view of that, but then we allow for room for the buttons on the right-hand side there. I'm sorry. It does optimize this display driver for us so that it is a very quick refresh on it. And so that will improve your ability to see real time. It won't be exactly real time, but close to it. And scaling is done by the vision sensor itself. let's take a look at how that works. Okay, this is the VisionView application software. So let's take a look at this. It's basically plug and go functionality. No user interface to configure. It will run. You will have to merely choose the language the very first time you pull it out of the box. After you've chosen the language, then it will boot up in the run mode. And it's made for very easy use, intuitive graphical interfaces, which is basically this screen right here. You can configure these screens. We have a 2x2, which is 4 cameras being viewed. Here we can go offline, online. We can focus it. We can trigger it. There are also options to switch views and options to load different jobs. We do have that functionality. We can also, from these 4 views, zoom in to just see one single view itself here. And it does boot in run mode, so the first time you set it up, you must choose the language. Thereafter, it will always boot up in run mode, and nothing more to set up at that time. But the first time, you're going to have to set it up and make a choice on what buttons are available to the operator interface. So you're going to choose what kind of buttons you can use: online, offline, focus, trigger to manually trigger the vision sensor, much like the toggle switch we have on the user interface. Switch views, pretty much like F6. Switch between views on the custom view. And here we can change jobs within the options menu. We'll also be able to display, if you so choose, a film strip in the VisionView panel to show you failed images or some icons here that tell you pass and failed functionality. Also, the switch views capability allows you to toggle between just an image with graphics, and if you're using the Insight camera, you can also switch to the custom view with it. You do have the custom view, which if you have the Insight camera, we can create a custom view for that. And through the DVT sensors, you'll be able to toggle between just image only, image with graphics, and plus we can put a SmartLink results table up for you to view in that custom view look. The bezel colors here change. Green meaning pass, red meaning failed. Nice option to have there for it. Nice feature. And we also have a status pane there that will define for us whether it is pass or fail also. These will all be determined by Insight watch cells and the results table overall pass-fail status. So these are created for you. We can also put strings up there, so the graphics are rather large for your operators to view the panel. And we can use the view only, so they can't use the buttons. So these buttons will not be available to them in the custom view. Oh, I'm sorry, not these buttons. This means when you're in a custom view, you won't be able to select them on here and activate them such as you would through the PC's user interface if you're in custom view. We can control access. We can make passwords created for it. We can also go through and detect sensors to see which ones will show up in your view window here to be able to add or take away from the vision view, and select a language. One more screen here. And choosing the layout for the operator, you can go through here through the options and choose which buttons will be available to the user when you are in run mode. Again, this is automatic detections with the 4 direct connect internet port or Ethernet ports. We do have 1 LAN connections. We'll populate up to 9 vision sensors. It does boot in the run mode. We can manually configure it so that we can view which subsystems, subnets to be able to view on the Vision system. And if there are no questions, of course, Mike, you can always go through the chat area if you have any questions for me. Let's jump out of here just for a quick second and take a look at the Insight Explorer that I was sharing with you. But what I want to show you right now is we have to launch the VisionView as a separate application. And so what that means is we're going to be loading that from a application. We have a demo here that I can launch. And go ahead and show you that through the share function as soon as I find where I left you. There you go. So let's go ahead and share this application with you. All right. So now we're able to see the VisionView panel. You notice it says connecting, user admin, Duluth 0266. I'm already logged on. When you are loading the VisionView panel, the user interface, Insight Explorer user interface, takes precedence over the VisionView panel. So while you're there programming, you don't want it to be taken away from you. So what I need to do is go to my Insight Explorer, and I will just go ahead and log off of my system. And what that is once they get on the system, they will log on to your camera, and it's whoever gets there first. So they will have to log off in order for you to view this function. As you see here, I've got the functionality here to trigger it. And as you see, the light changed a little bit, and I'll throw an object across it here. And you'll see I'm actually triggering it from my VisionView panel. If I wanted to focus that, I could turn it into focus mode and go ahead and focus that a little bit differently. So if I wanted to that way. And then the spots, and it's got spots now because I've got a white object in there. And trigger it again, and there we go with that. And the holes were always failing before for whatever reason. And here's the switch view, so I'm back to no graphics on here to, yes, these are the graphics on there, and I do have a custom view through the Insight camera also. So that is the VisionView panel completed. Now let's go back and see about how to go through some customizing this function as it stands. So we'll go through here on the Options button, and the actual VisionView setup here. We do have just this one system here. We could select some other sensors in here, manually select. It's detecting different sensors. Detecting forever. So I could go through here and select other sensors here, but as soon as I do, I would bump them off their system, so I won't go and take these. I could probably take his. We could add Ron's to mine here and say OK to that. And then we can go back to the run mode. And dance time, as you see, user is already logged onto this, so I cannot take over that from him either. So I can go back here to the sensor screen itself, and go ahead and remove him from my console to look at. Okay. So as we start out, the very first thing you would do is set up your language. We're going to pick English. You have these different languages right here to choose from. Screen layout, if I don't want them to be able to change jobs, I'll take that away. I could take the film strip and maybe the focus, remove that from their view. So when I hit run, they do not now have the focus button available to them. So that's screen layout, how we select those or deselect those. Change icons if you want those. Icons here. Some of the options in the film strip then are to send them to a network location on a C drive, edit that function through here by typing in what the drive is and allowing your images then to be saved on either a USB drive or a location somewhere else. That's options for film strip. Screen layout. Now in settings, we can password protect this, the VisionView sensor itself, not the camera, but this would be for the VisionView. And then this sensor over here, this is your camera itself, the sensor log on. You could have one of those functionalities here to be password protected for that also. So this is what we're using right here for obtaining the IP address. Restore factory display settings. This is just telling you how long it's going to stay intense at a certain amount of level, inactivity level here. And right now we're at 70% intensity. If you happen to have a touch screen, instead of a mouse user input into this, this would be your touch screen calibration area right here. Okay. So those are all the settings for right there. And of course that leaves us with run. Camera right there, triggering it. Yeah, we're looking good there for that kind of functionality too. So that is basically what it is to configure the VisionView panel. It's pretty much plug and play. Go in and configure what you want it to look at. So far as the hardest part here would probably be which cameras to find in your network, which ones to add to the VisionView. You can add up to 9, view 9 of them, and you'll view the whole network. And you'll notice we do have Intellect cameras in here also, Insight cameras. You know, we have some micros in here, so we can view any of our cameras out on the network to view in the VisionView panel. All right, I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing at this time. Getting back to the Microsoft Live meeting, see if there are any questions. I know, Mike, you just hear me, but you can go to the chat area and ask any questions. And if we don't have any questions from anyone, I thank you for joining us today. That is our VisionView